a lot of people might not actually see the spirit world. And I mean, for me, whether people see it a blessing or a curse, I see them freely. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my God, that's horrible. I love it, to be honest. Like I say, I'm quite gothic in that respect. Well, I think I'm a goth. I don't know if I'm a goth. I might identify as a goth one day. I don't know. But I see the spirit world on a daily basis. Like, seriously, I've seen the dead since I was 6 year old. So to me now, like, when I look at a spirit, it looks exactly like a human being. The only
That's
difference,
exactly how I see them. They look like a person, and I didn't know the difference till they disappear a second later.
there you go. That's why you found the channel.
Seen twice I've seen them, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, one was actually full on looking at me, standing on the water, and then I was like, "We don't have a
Wow.
dock there on the outside our cottage." And then he was gone when I looked because it was awkward because he's staring back at me, and then I looked away and looked back, and he's gone.
It's
And then the second time was two of them walking towards me on the sidewalk. I looked down at my phone, I looked up, they're gone. There's no way they could have left before I looked up. Like I was seen.
well, it's funny, right, how the spirit world work.
So they
And
don't look like the ghosts you'd think.
not. You know, when people think of a ghost, like they automatically assume that a ghost is going to effectively look like a white outline. I wrote, going to look like a white outline, and that outline's not going to have any distinguishing features. It's not going to have anything within it. But that's not exactly when you've cultivated the ability of clairvoyance. That's when you are effectively going to not just start noticing it. I don't know if a lot of you were on maybe's watched the last video I done, but I likened being a medium, and I think it's quite fitting for what we're talking about here. Right? If you picture yourself in a busy town, any town in the world, any place, whether it's your local one, anyone, and picture yourself walking along a road. This road is just full of people, like literally, you're shoulder to shoulder with people. And as a human being, you are just walking straight through past everyone. You're not talking to them. You're not speaking to them. And if you're somebody like me, you're antisocial anyway. You don't want other people's problems. You don't care for them. You're just going to go to your destination. You're going to walk straight past everyone. Now, that there is effectively somebody when we are talking about the spirit world who hasn't refined their clairvoyant abilities. They are just going to bypass spirit. They're going to just continue with on their life. They've effectively got tunnel vision. They're just going straight forward. They're not paying attention to the energies. They've not. A lot of people say it's an awakening, but I don't really want to use that terminology because mankind take it out of context. It's not an awakening. It's just an awareness. But for people like so what you've just explained there before, Tina, for people who are actually seeing the spirit world and seeing them as you would see a human being, instead of just walking past people being spirits in this analogy, you are stopping them. You are speaking to them. You are engaging in conversation with them. And this is the clear difference between someone who is effectively communicating with the spirit world and seeing the spirit world and someone who is just effectively just going through their life, just focusing on all of the the jobs, the responsibilities that comes along with being a human being. I hope you understood that, and I thought it was a great time to bring it up. Does anyone have any other questions? Any questions at all?
Mm.
No? Well, I
Well,
hope.
okay. When it happens, I feel like it's when I'm just kind of in the moment where I'm focusing on something and I'm not paying attention to it. But then when I want it to happen and I want to see them, I don't.
And
I'll
you've
just
just
get
you've
like
just you've just answered your very own question.
I want to
When you
see
want
them
it,
more. Like, why just twice when I'm caught off guard?
and a lot of you, right? I think for every one of you watching this, right? If you have seen spirit or you've heard spirit or you've wanted any spirit communication, I guarantee 99.9% of the time you didn't ask for it. You didn't want it.
Oh,
You didn't
never did.
force it. You didn't force it. And that's the problem when we want something, we force it. And mediumship isn't about forcing, it's about going with the flow. And listen, I know it sounds spiritual, that, and it sounds like it's taken straight from some sort of philosophy quote, but in mediumship, it really is as simple and as basic as you make it. If you force mediumship in your, like, it's like I'll always say when you go into a meditation and you've had a meditation that's absolutely blown your mind, the worst thing that you could possibly do is to go into another meditation and expect that same experience. Because by you wanting it, by you forcing it, guess what's not going to happen? It's not going to work the way that you want.
That's
Un-
the truth.
yeah. And just while we're on clairvoyance, right? I mean, I've seen, and obviously, you know my views and opinions on the spirit world, they're highly intelligent. And my son's 13-year old, and I've come to terms with the fact that I've seen spirit from being 6. So I know for a fine fact he will at some point. And spirit already worked through him. Like there's loads of times where we've been out in the car and he said, "Look at the time, Dad, it's 10:10." Or like loads of weird little synchronicities that all add up and they're like communicating through him, but not scaring him, if that makes sense. And they're like, look what he's doing, look what he's all right. We actually went on a drive one time, right? And we went to it was like a dark skies observatory here in the United Kingdom. We've got these places where you can go and you can look at the stars, and it's all like all of that. It turned out that it was absolutely horrendous. It was freezing cold. It started raining. There wasn't a star in sight. And I had drove an hour to let him have this magical experience. And I thought, right, I was furious with it. I was like, why did you tell us to come here? This, even though I shouldn't have been blaming them. You do, as a human being. You're like, well, why did you let us roll with this? And my son had said to us, like, I said to him, I'm sorry, like, you're a bit disappointed, son. And unfortunately, like, it is what it is. We can't control things out of our control. And he went, you know what it is, Dad? I don't mind. If only I could just see one animal, just any animal, and it would be all right. And I was like, well, son, it's like 11 o'clock at night, mate. What do you mean you want to see an animal? I mean, that's taking it from it being out of my control to maybe some McDonald's I can get you. Maybe I can take you to the garage and get you some sweets, but I can't get you to see an animal at this time of night. There's no zoos open. And I kid you not. I kid you not. We went round the next bend, and there, in the middle of the road, was an owl. And it literally, and I know a lot of you are probably thinking that's a coincidence, Sean. We had been driving for like literally an hour. There was no chance of an owl being on this road. And I kid you not, like even now, like the hairs on me back and my neck go up because he had like literally said it. He wanted to see it. That would have made his night. And we went round the corner, and I actually had to bring the car to a stop. The owl was not going to move. And even to this day, he still remembers it because I had to bear in mind I was on the road, right? It was like a two-way road. I had to stop the car. Then he could look at it and laugh, and he was like, "Oh, that's amazing." He got loads of pictures on his phone. I had to reverse backwards and drive around the owl when it was just watching the car. I was like, what the hell have you just manifested there? Don't ever ask to see anything again. And it was just crazy. And then with a clairvoyance, like obviously my son sees what I do, and he's got people who are obviously it's like anything in any facet of life. You shouldn't expect people to like what you do, to see it as being the truth. I let my work speak for itself, and that's what I say all of the time. And whether people want to believe or it's not my job or responsibility to make people believe. That's a personal journey that they're going to take, and that's what I've said to my son. So somebody had said to him anyway, your dad doesn't see spirits or something like that. It is the two. You get people who are just envious and jealous for absolute no reason. They're just like that. And he's at high school, so you probably find that somebody's saying that I've got a channel and they're like, oh, your dad's not seeing ghosts. Oh, he's crazy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, this long story short, I took him out into Newcastle city centre, and this is just tying in with what Tina said before. I went into Newcastle city centre, and I've seen spirit for the entirety of my life, but there was this one occasion always stands out. I was with my son, and I said to him, I says, I want to go and have a look up there. I've never seen what's up there. I mean, to be honest with you, right, it was like a beat down. There was no reason for me to want to go up there at all. It just looked absolutely crumble, and I was just like intrigued. Something made us intrigued. And I kid you not, I remember the face now. I went onto the escalator, and straight behind us, this little old creepy lady. And when I say creepy, I mean, I don't mean any offense, but it was kind of creepy to me in those moments. This little lady got right behind my son. And I was like, oh, I don't like that because even though you're old and maybe you don't mean any harm, I don't want you that close to my son. So I pushed him in front of us. And then she was just like staring straight through us. And I was like, whoa, this is weird. Like, this is either you're gonna and I'm not for 1 minute saying I was gonna come to any harm. But in those moments with the clairvoyance, I didn't realize it was a spirit. So I moved my son in front and I said, son, just stay there. And we got to the top of the escalator. Guess who wasn't there? And I said to my son, did you see that lady? Like, he went, what lady, Dad? And I was genuinely like, the lady that was just stood behind her. And in those moments, he realized that why I had moved them in front of us. And he was like, oh, my dad does see dead people. But and just in case anyone's wondering, oh, well, why did she look evil here? Why did she give off a negative vibe? It was all part of the mirage that they wanted me to experience. Because if they hadn't have done it that way in those moments, they knew that my son wouldn't have believed. They knew how defensive I was of my son, so I took him straight from behind us and put it. There's no logical reason to do that on an
That gives me
escalator.
chills.
You're just going to
I
stand on it.
know they do stuff like that.
The what? Sorry, Tina?
I it just gives me chills because I know they do stuff like that
Oh,
intentionally. Like when my boyfriend, for a while, he didn't believe in it, and now he fully believes because when we moved into our new place 2 years ago, they were renovating it. It's an old house, and he heard the same spirit that I heard. We were watching TV, and it was like she was talking right in our ear, and there was like a wall, like
oh,
probably
that's awesome.
3 inches from our head, and she just went, in a woman's voice. And I was like, he's like, what the hell was that? I'm like, did you hear? And then I asked the people that live upstairs, I said, so is this house haunted? Because it's like a big Victorian home split into two. She goes, oh,
Oh,
yeah, we lived here for 3 years and we always hear stuff. But I've asked them, because there's been some other incidents too, like, I felt like there was a cat at the end of our bed before we had a cat and little things like that. So now he knows. And then I went on TikTok one day and there was this medium. She lives in my area. She's really good. She's an evidential medium. And she started saying, oh, this guy Frank's coming through. And she described everything about my dad to a T. And he was like, holy crap. And every now and again, when I'm watching her live, my dad says hi. And then I started seeing my dad's name on license plates everywhere. It would be like Dad F, and his name's Frank. And
yeah.
he's like, oh my God. And now he knows right away. He's like, oh my God, he was meant to believe. And now his psychic abilities are coming online.
Oh, well, you should tell him to start
Really
watching this
cool.
channel. And I'll
Oh,
start
I
waking it
will.
up then, my friend. When people realize how simple mediumship is, it's about understanding that in the first instance, you're good enough. And in the second instance, that there is something much more than what the human mind can comprehend. It's amazing and funny how quick, as a person, you start to develop and use your clairsenses. One thing that I would suggest for yourself was, Tina, is to do EVPs. If you've ever had spirit or talents to get you to do EVPs, maybe don't do it because sometimes the realms can be a little bit playful and they will tell you to do it. But if you're going to be scared,
I'd
don't do
like
it.
to. I'm
Um,
not scared at all. Like I know nothing's gonna hurt me. If they're gonna hurt us,
oh,
we'd
of
already.
course, they're not going to hurt you. You've got a
Just
good
like how they
understanding.
think aliens are gonna kill us. They'd kill us already if they were
Oh,
going to. Like I
exactly
don't
that.
think that anything wants to kill me. I know that I wanted to come here for a human experience, and like
We
I'm
signed up.
not afraid to die anyways. Like I know there's no such thing as death. So what are they gonna get you for?
And
You're not going anywhere. I think we're all in the same spot, just on different frequencies. I don't think there's a different place where they are. I just think
no,
everybody's
they're
here.
here. Yep, they're here and now. That they literally live amongst us.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. A lot of people think, oh, aren't you scared? Because I have had spirits come through a few times, but it wasn't scary. I wasn't expecting it. It was just emotional, more as like it made me really emotional. Didn't make me scared. It's not
Yeah.
like they come in your face. It's like it's like telepathy kind of. It's nothing scary.
I think as well, right, what a lot of people will find scary, especially when they start having authentic spirit communication, is when the spirit world start using your clairsenses. Because without knowing, and I don't want to scare anyone who watches this video, because you've found this channel for a reason to get a good understanding. But what you've got to realize is the spirit world need you. Like they it's whilst they
Yeah.
can do things behind the scenes and whilst the spirit world can heal people, that's not the way that this is meant to work. Yes, they can do that, but they need human beings to be, and it sounds like they're trying to recruit you, yeah, isn't it? But it's not in that way. But the spirit world need you to pass on their messages to their loved ones. Whilst yes, they can go to the loved one direct, a lot of the time because the loved one tunnel vision, they aren't paying attention to the signs. They aren't paying attention to the synchronicities. They aren't being able
They
to
need to
do,
be in the present moment.
of course. And when it comes to like evil spirits, right? Does any one of you, right? Honestly, genuinely, like I'm not going to say like anything. That's why we do these. Does anyone believe that there is evil spirits? I don't want you to just keep me happy
I
because
actually don't. I think they're all come from love. It's just they're on different frequencies, but maybe there's lower vibrations. But I don't think they're evil. I think evil people live here amongst us. Like if you look at the world and people think there's hell, well, we're in the closest thing to hell right now where we're living, I believe. That's what
yeah,
I think. But there's nothing standing at the end of my bed freaking me out. So it would happen. I would know by now if there was. So,
mm,
Can I share a funny story that happened?
of course
I'm
you
very
can.
early on. Yeah, I'm very early on in my development. And I was looking into a case recently. I won't mention names, but there was a miscarriage of justice. And anyway, as a bit of like relief, I decided I'm a singer. I've got a cold at the moment. So I was in the middle of singing a song, right? Stand By You by the Pretenders. Just get into the middle section. And the next thing, an image flashed to my right of this person. I leapt out of the room and then I burst a laughing because on the iPad, halfway through came Bohemian Rhapsody with I see a little silhouette of a man. And I couldn't stop laughing because I thought, if anyone had ever said to me, you're going to see a ghost and you're going to laugh, I'd have said,
that's
no,
so
but it
cool.
was hilarious.
To make
And
you
what
laugh.
it was, and the message was, evil things were done to this person in life. But as Jordan's often said in his YouTube videos, you leave all that behind when you go into the next realm. And the message was, remember me for the fun, remember me for being a silly, happy-go-lucky young man. What happened to me was a tragedy later, but it was only a short period of time. So that gave me closure because I thought I've done my job now.
And that's it.
Yeah,
So
that was all I needed to do, wasn't it? You could go on and on looking into something, and it's never going to bring you closure. It's never going to bring you happiness, and it just invalidates that person's life for the way they passed.
mhm.
But we're more than that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just all spirits. We're just in physical form here. Just if I think of everybody as spirit, then but sometimes I'm like, oh, I see the good in everyone. I see them as like the
And that can
fault,
be
and
a
then I get
problem.
I know now the difference. I can feel the energy right away because and what you said about the chameleon thing, like that's my life because I've had this business now for 8 years and I'm working one on one. I do beauty, like I have a little salon from my house, so eyelash extensions. I am very close to these girls, and I see the same ones every 2 to 3 weeks, and I take on new ones. But I do match their energy when they come. I'll be in a great mood, and then all of a sudden, someone's in a crappy mood. they're going through something, and then I match that, and I notice my voice change and everything. I'm like, why am I observing their energy? How do I block
Yeah,
it? And then I'm like, I'm not gonna block it. This is the way that I'm gonna be able to read their energy. It's showing through me, and I need to
100%.
look at it in a positive way. And I know how to talk to them. I know if there's something wrong, and it's not like
Yeah,
it is important to match their energy and be on the frequency, just like how we have to be on the frequency with spirit that comes through, right? So it's, I think this job is like good practice.
100%. And what you'll find is, right, without knowing, the spirit world have plans for every one of you. Every one of you watching this channel, I guarantee you, right? By the time you are finished on this channel, I know for the fine fact every one of the channel members will go on to having their own platforms. You will go on to teaching. You will go on to helping mankind in your own ways.